Today, I'd like to introduce you to a concept called Sheehans Wall. So what is Sheehans Wall? Well, it was a concept developed by Peter Sheehan, and he was talking about marketing. Basically, the idea is that there is a wall between known and unknown. So if we think about this, sometimes things are known by clients and sometimes they're very much unknown. We want to get onto the other side of this wall. If you think about all the different things that are coming up for somebody, there are a lot of things coming at us every single day, whether that's with marketing, whether that's just thinking about the 60,000 thoughts that we have that come in and out of our brain every single day. We have so many things that we're required to pay attention to, or we're asked to pay attention to. Some things are demanding our attention. My dog, for example, he'll come in, just like he's doing right now, and want to get my attention. He'll be barking and he'll be gnawing, he'll be poking, he'll be nuzzling. And if I try and not give him any attention, then he eventually will just go away. But if I give him a little bit of attention, just an inch, he suddenly recognizes, oh, I can get what I want. I can keep begging for food. I can keep begging for that treat. Basically, he will try and get to the other side of that wall, of my wall of attention. What's known and what's unknown. The attention that I'm offering to him. So when we think about what's known and what's unknown, sometimes there are lots of different things that come into the periphery. Like if we're driving a car, right? Think about driving a car and there are lots of things that are coming at you, but you're not really paying a whole lot of attention to some of them. Some of them you're paying very much attention to. For example, as soon as you pass a police car, suddenly you're paying very close attention to your speedometer and how fast you're going. And you're paying very close attention to the speed limit signs. Oh wait, am I going too fast? Is he going to pull me over? But until that happens, you wouldn't even notice that. I remember when I was very first learning to drive, one of the things that our driver ed teacher would tell us to do is as soon as we saw a speed limit sign, we were supposed to call out the speed and say speed limit 45 or whatever it was that we were supposed to call out. So I'm driving along and my driver ed teacher is sitting next to me and he's talking about something. You want to do this and you want to do that and you want to pay attention. Well, down the road, far, far away, I see the speed limit sign that says 45. Now, I remember that he told us as soon as we see one, we need to call it out. I don't want to interrupt him, so I let him finish his sentence. And then I say, speed limit 45, because I am very aware of that's something I should be paying close attention to him. And he looks at me and he says, where are you looking? I said, up there. And he squints and he looks and he goes, I can't even see that speed limit. You can see that? And then we get closer and closer and closer and he goes, yep, you're right. It's 45. But I was paying such close attention to what the speed limit was because I wanted to get that gold star. I wanted him to say, yep, you passed. You did what you were supposed to do. So I was paying very close attention to that. That was what was known to me. And that's what I was paying close attention to. It got to the other side of Sheehans Wall. So sometimes we'll look at someone like a celebrity. Say, for example, Beyonce. And we'll think, wow, she has so many different things that she's doing. She's a songwriter, she's a dancer, she is a model, she's a record producer, a composer, a singer-songwriter, a film director, an entrepreneur, a film producer, a business person, a screenwriter, a philanthropist, all these different things that Beyonce is. And she has different things that she sells. Martha Stewart, she has a line of things that she sells. So it could be she's got a magazine, she's got a podcast, she's got an Instagram channel, she's got a TV show, she's got, right? We look at these different people and we think, wow, how are they doing so many things? It's because they are on the other side of Sheehans Wall. So when we think about how we want to get to that other side, the other side of Sheehans Wall, we want to take very focused, very concentrated action. So why do we want to take very concentrated, focused action? Well, this is going to get us more results. If, for example, I were to say, well, I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm a director, I play the guitar, I paint, I could list all these different ways that I could sell you on different things, right? But you're going to be like, wait, that's so many things. Like, which one are you actually good at? When we think about a doctor, we think about sometimes there's a generalist. They do lots and lots of different things, right? A doctor might be able to operate on your eye or on your ear, on your heart, on your lungs, but you don't want just any doctor to be operating on some of these things. You don't want any doctor to say, well, I could operate on your brain. You want a specialist. You want a focused person who knows what they're doing. This is someone who has gotten to the point where they are very concentrated, very specialized. They're not a generalist. They are very much a specialist. They've gotten to the point where they are known for that one thing. Can they do all the other things? Yes, they probably can. They went to medical school. They need to know all those different parts and pieces. But what is their specificity? This is where we get into the conversation about a niche. Now, some people, especially in coaching, sometimes it's gotten a bad rap because people start to say, well, I have to narrow down to a niche. I have to focus on this one thing. I don't even know how to pick my niche. I don't know what I can do. I don't know what all these, and they start getting in their brain around this. Now, it doesn't have to be a problem. The reason why we would want to choose a niche is because we want to be focused. I love this book by Greg McKeown. It's called Essentialism. And he talks about how when you are focused on one thing, it becomes very clear. If you look at the picture right here, right? It's very confusing, and then it becomes very focused on what we're trying to accomplish. The same thing happens when we're trying to get to the other side of Sheehans Wall. Sometimes things are very broad and we want to bounce lots of things off the wall. But sometimes when we want to get to be known for one specific thing, we want to focus. We want to be very targeted and very focused on one problem and one solution. It simplifies things in people's minds. That's one of the reasons why you might want to choose a niche. Now, can you help people with lots of different things? Absolutely. Do we want to say, no, I'm not going to help you with that? Maybe. There are some of my clients who have said, you know what? I only work with this group of people. I only want to focus on this one thing, because they know that the further they spread themselves out, the more that they aren't a specialist on that one area, the more that they don't know the specific problems of that one thing. So when we think about video, we want to talk in a way that gets us to the other side of Sheehans Wall. This can be very targeted. You can think of one problem and one solution, and then focus on that one problem and that one solution till you get to the other side of that wall. You solve that one problem for them. And once you've solved that one problem, then you know what happens? Suddenly, we can become a generalist again. They say, you know what? You know that one thing. Think about Beyonce again, right? She's on the other side of the wall. She is known. And so suddenly, because she's known for those things, people say anything that has to do with these things. They'll say, oh, Beyonce knows music. She can compose, she can write, she can sing, she can dance, she can model. See how all of these things are kind of in the same area, but they are broad as well. But she was very focused for a very long time on just one specific thing. And then once she got to the other side of being known, she broadened her horizons. The same thing with Martha Stewart. In fact, I just watched a masterclass with Martha Stewart, and she talked about how sometimes she looks ahead and says, you know what? I'm done with that. In fact, she closed off her magazine before it was starting to go downhill. She said, you know what? I want to finish with that. I want to move on to the next thing. She's in her 80s and she still is very focused on being on the other side of that wall. So people will say, well, she does all these different things, but she's very specific in her area. For example, she's not going to take on something that doesn't have anything to do with her, because then she would have to be on that other side of the wall again. All of a sudden, she would be an unknown entity. If she were to say, okay, you know what? I've decided instead of dealing with cooking and dealing with housewares and dealing with cleaning products and all these different things that are within my targeted area, I'm going to invent a guitar. We might be able to get to the other side of that wall with her. We might be able to say, oh, have you played the guitar? Do you know a lot about guitars? Is there some area in relation to this that makes this an area of your expertise? Because you're Martha Stewart. I know who you are, but why does this fit in with your brand? Why does this fit in with you? She would have to connect those dots for it to make sense to us, because otherwise she's going to be back on the other side of that wall, back on the other side of known and unknown. So when you think about this, think about why you are known. How are you known for your clients? How do they know you, and what have they come to you with for a very specific reason, for a very specific cause, to solve their specific problem? Now, if you want more help with this, you can join us inside of Lights, Camera, Action, where we turn on all the lights in your brain, focus the camera of your mind, and help you take action to get you where you want to be with video. See you inside Lights, Camera, Action.